Anderson. I'm listed on the program as Tri-Valley Cares. I donate to Tri-Valley Cares. I was in a meeting this past week with the executive director of Tri-Valley Cares, but I'm not representing Tri-Valley Cares. I'm representing me. Longer story. I will focus on Livermore Lab, but there are also significant sites, re-nuclear weapons, within a reasonable distance of San Francisco. I've seen mention of Bechtel headquarters. There is the Lockheed plant about an hour south where they build the Trident missiles that you just saw pictures of. Livermore Lab, 1 hour east of San Francisco, founded in 1952. They called it a branch of the University of California Radiation Laboratory. And its principal business has been always designing H-bombs, thinking up and advocating new uses for nuclear weapons. And they do a few other things too. A key figure at Livermore is Edward Teller. Teller was a brilliant scientist and opinion shaper. For most of the Cold War, from I'd say about 1950 to about 1986, I'd say Teller was more responsible for the U.S. nuclear arms race and a more effective opponent of arms control than anyone else alive, and Teller's institutional home was Livermore. The earliest resistance that we know of was back in the 1950s with Sam Clark and others. The anti-war movement of the 60s paid a little attention to Livermore, but Berkeley activists were focused more on Berkeley. Livermore remained under the UC system, but was separated within the UC system. In the 1970s, not much happened at Livermore from our side, but there was active opposition to a nuclear power plant, which was eventually built on the coast halfway to Los Angeles. Methods of opposition and personal connections were built at those protests that were later applied at Livermore. The 79 to 83 period, two key developments that were sort of outside. First, nuclear power plants generally went on the defensive. The utilities stopped ordering new plants because they found that coal was cheaper, and then there was the 3 Mile Island accident. The other key development was the breakdown of détente between the United States and the Soviet Union. In the early 70s, there was a détente period. This started in the Carter administration, but greatly worsened with the election of Ronald Reagan. And this raised public awareness, well, it raised the danger of nuclear war, and therefore public awareness of the danger of nuclear war. 82 was a key year. Demonstrations at Livermore became monthly. Ouch. Nonviolent civil disobedience meetings that went on for hours and hours. Wide coalition. About 1,300 arrested, and almost everybody out in 3 days. In 83, basically again, but this time, for jail solidarity, people had to stay in for weeks. And so there's never been anywhere near as big since. And a scale of 1,000 or 2,000 risking arrest is not really direct action in the sense of closing the lab and vacating, which some people had hopes of in the 82-83 period. Scale of 10,000? Maybe, but we never got close to that. But we have sustained resistance ever since. Twice a year, at least, we go out there. I've been out there dozens of times. And to say that at Livermore, okay, about the police and authorities. At Livermore, which is an important qualifier, and within the past 15 years, which is an important qualifier, the police are actually quite decent. They put on all their shin guards, the whole 9 yards of their gear, and look very stern. But they act quite properly, thank you. And I've got tons of stories. Even here, ask me, I've got a few copies of the handout, and I'll make more if people want them.
Thanks.